The effect of concussions on the human brain. What long-term effects do concussions have on the brain? Concussions have been a lingering question, especially in the world of sports, for quite some time now. By now, mostly everybody knows that concussions are bad for the brain, but the real question is, how bad are concussions for the brain? This is what the researcher will be solving, because society as a whole needs to know the lasting effects of concussions for the safety of their children. Concussions actually have a large effect on the economy. More harm is done on the economy than good is brought out of it when concussions occur. The largest wage declines are experienced by individuals aged 30 to 39 years old and those without high school degrees. The principal part of the decline was motivated by affected people leaving the workforce. The annual absolute impact sizes were counter-cyclical to the rate of unemployment. Concussions have made a huge impact on the scientific world as well. Considering this is one of the biggest issues in America right now, there has been an increase in jobs in the field of neuroscience. This increase is so large that by 2022, neuroscience researchers are predicting a 13% increase in jobs since 2012. Neuroscience is a steadily growing field, and it looks like it will be for the foreseeable future. There is an extremely large social impact with concussions as well. Concussions can really mess with a person's mental and emotional state. It is crucial to have a strong support system when recovering from a concussion because every less amount of stress is so important for a quick recovery. A recent study from the Institute of Medicine and National Research Council states that young athletes in the U.S. face a culture of resistance to revealing when an athlete might have a concussion and complying with recovery plans that may threaten the athlete's well-being. The study offers a thorough overview of concussions in athletes aged 5 to 21 in a variety of youth sports. Overall, in some sports, confirmed rates of concussions are more common among high school athletes than college athletes. Using all of these factors, could it possibly be determined that concussions do in fact leave long-term effects on the brain? The ultimate goal here is to either prove or disprove the fact that concussions have long-term effects on the brain. The objectives of this mission is to find out how the brain physically changed and how the brain mentally changed. That is how whether or not the problem is solved will be determined. The hypothesis states if there are long-lasting effects from a concussion on the brain, then those effects will have a negative impact on the brain. The control group will be the room that the scans take place in and the protective equipment, and also the experimental group will be the person that is being tested. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the United States, 1.6 million to 3.8 million concussions associated with sports and recreation occur each year. A concussion is actually a moderate type of traumatic brain injury, which is also known as TBI, rather than just a knock on the head. Never let the word mild fool you, though. In a short and long-term scenario, even a little bit of brain damage may cause major problems with thought or memory, movement or coordination, expression or comprehension, and personality or mood. Some research has also related repetitive head injuries to CTE, a long-term degenerative disorder that has Alzheimer's-like symptoms. Football, hockey, soccer, and other sports are not uncommon with concussions and head injuries. The National Football League, also known as the NFL, has actively highlighted the potentially significant short and long-term consequences of these injuries on players and their families over the past few years. The question of how these seemingly mild injuries impact developing brains and bodies was raised to 2008 when a high school football player in North Carolina died from head injuries he suffered on the football field. The first step in the methodology is we're going to need to find someone who has had concussions when they were younger and ask them if they are willing to conduct the experiment. And we need to purchase the equipment needed, which is MRI brain scans, hospital gowns, retractable tables, IV lines, headphones, leaded glasses, and lead aprons. We're going to need to scan the patient once a month for the rest of his or her life, and then compare results for differences in color, shape, and size. And then here are some designs for the experiment. The more concussions that a person has, the longer it will take for the concussion to heal. The data can be analyzed by taking percentages of concussions that wind up having long-term effects. This will have significance because if there is any change in the percentage, but if there is no change, then there will be no data to compare. There will be a few limitations though. Tests will only be able to be done if and when a patient consents to them. Also, there may be certain periods of time where the neurologist and patient schedule will not agree. There is also a financial limitation. Neuroscience is any of the sciences that deals with the structure and function of the nervous system and brain, and countercyclical is to counteract the fluctuations in an economic cycle. We're excited. Thank you for watching my presentation.